Hello, welcome everyone. This is Kim, and you are tuned in to Kim Talks Unscripted. Yes, let me just give you just a short view of what this podcast is about. Okay, this podcast, we're going to be talking about things that is over everyday life, your challenges, victories, just no filter. We just gonna talk about it. I cannot stand surface talk, so surface talk is out and real talk is in. So that's just a brief overview of Kim Talks Unscripted.
Today we have a great one for you, as always. And when I say we, I got friends with me. I have the great Terrance Williams, better known as TW Speaks. I also have Miss Brittany Taylor, better known as Evangelist Britt. Now I'm going to tell you, this is a spoiler alert. Yes, a spoiler alert. We are talking today about the movie Straw. So, we ask a question to everyone. What do you think? Like, seriously, what do you think? Let us know, because we're talking about the straw. And again, what do you think?
I got a question, y'all.
Oh, here we go already.
So Brittany called me literally after she watched. This is before we discuss anything. Brittany called me literally after she watched this movie and said to me, "I'm gonna need you to get these hands when you come to Houston." What
Actually,
what's
I
that
was
about?
still watching the movie when I called him.
Brittany, what
Huh?
is that about? Can you explain why would you feel that way?
First of all, let me just say that the movie coming out last week caught me off guard because I thought I had a little more time. I had seen the previews, but I actually had forgot about the movie. So when he called me and he was like, no, he texted me and he was like, your assignment this weekend is to watch Straw. And I'm like, okay. And with Terrence, like I said, his next movie has to be a cartoon because
Yeah, I agree with that, because
it's always
just
deep.
too deep and all of that. But Britt, we will have to say that we watched it first. I believe we watched it first. Did we watch it first? And then you came behind us, Terrence. Is
No,
that
I
not
was
so?
I
No, he
no, I
watched it
sent
before
the
us.
word to y'all.
Okay, he sent us the word. Now I'm gonna say this. I've been a fan of Tyler Perry for a long time, and back in the Medea days, and so I'm down for whatever
You
he put out. But
you
what I
mentioned to me, Kim, you mentioned to me that you used to do every play when he came to town. Is that correct?
every play when he came to town, you did not miss me. I was gonna be down. I was gonna be on time, because he was gonna go ahead and embarrass you for coming in the door late to see his plays back in the day. It was a funny joke, but so I didn't miss it. So when this movie came out, I was like, okay, when you told us about it. And actually, when you mentioned it to me, if you could remember, I thought it came out like on a Monday of the next week. And you said, no, it come on a day. I wasn't prepared. Brittany, just like you wasn't prepared. I was sitting there and it hit home so much. I found myself just so emotional. Like, I mean, y'all got to share on that. How did y'all feel?
Okay, so first of all, let's let our audience know this is a spoiler alert, because if you have not seen the movie, either you
Oh,
should
yeah.
not be listening to this podcast, or just know that we're going to be talking about various parts that may spoil different things for you. So first and foremost, what did you think of the movie, or as a whole, before we get into specifics? What, if you had to grade the movie, what would you give it, Brittany and then Kim?
I initially said an 8 out of 10, but after I rewatched it, that is probably a 9.5 out of 10 for a Tyler Perry movie. At that, yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably his best one.
Yeah,
Okay.
9.5, 9.99999. That was the best I have seen. Like I said, I followed him for quite some time. Quite some time. I think he outdone himself with this one. I
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah, I would definitely say that it was a great movie. I probably would give it an 8 or a 9 as well. Or,
Yeah, why you give it
or
an
there
8?
was, hmm?
You giving it an 8.9,
No,
8.5.
no, I said 8 or a 9
Well, come on, you need to choose. It ain't in the eights.
because here's the reason why. Tiana Taylor's wig was a hot mess.
Well, maybe they
I
need to
I
go back.
love Tiana Taylor. Now let's not listen. I've been following her. Unfortunately, I was late to the party, but I've been following her since
Yeah, you were real late to the party.
Byron.
Yeah, you were real late to the party because I've been following Tiana Taylor since my Sweet 16 when she first came on the scene.
Oh, okay. I
Wow.
Yeah.
didn't know about that. I didn't know about
See,
that.
I didn't know about that either. So that's when I was made aware of that scene that she done who she was. Now
Yeah.
that wig, it wasn't wigging for me, but it wasn't wigging for me at all.
Well,
And
Kim, that's because
even
you
though
don't
I
like
was,
wigs.
huh?
What you
I
say?
said that's because you
What
What
you
don't
you say,
say?
like
Brittany?
wigs. You don't like wigs.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because every time I bought one, I done broke out with it, rash all over my ears and my neck. So I just got something against it right now. If and I'm cheap, I'm not gonna spend $400-500 on no bundles. But anyway, let's stay on point. But
Well,
I
I'm a
just I
protocol
couldn't,
person.
huh?
I'm a protocol person, so I'm looking at production from the beginning of the movie. I'm looking at backgrounds, I'm looking at wardrobe, I'm looking at props, I'm looking at lighting. That's who I am. Cinematography is a class I took in high school. So I'm always looking at that. And so when I look at wardrobe, I'm looking at head to toe. And I'm just like, why does I don't understand. Taraji's hair was natural, so I get that,
Yes,
and
Miss Harris hair was
he
natural.
wanted that to come across as
Hmm.
stressed. She was stressed out,
She was
and so
stressed.
she didn't have time to do her hair like Brittany. She just kind of pulled it back, you know.
Yeah, Brittany, she got her hair all done, y'all.
I do not.
So So Taraji's character from the beginning gets up in stress. Like it was
Yes,
a struggle just to get up.
just to get up.
My question to you, Kim, because you are the mother on the panel today. When you have a sick child or when you have a child at all, and I know it's sun up to sundown, constantly going,
On the move.
providing, doing whatever, whatever. Is it really, in the way that she portrayed it, is it really that much of a struggle to start the day?
Yes, it is, especially being a single mom, low income, working two jobs the way she, claimed that she did. It is it's a struggle because you just fighting to survive and caring for the child and living in a place that's just almost inhabitable. So it
Hmm.
is stressful. And the stress doesn't go away in a day or two. It's ongoing. So, as a single mom, and to other single moms that watched the movie Straw, you felt that. You felt every part of that. Just waking up and here we go again. Going to bed like it's going to come back tomorrow. It was never ending in that sense. And then she was going to a job, if y'all remember, that she was very much disrespected. And so her life wasn't giving in no aspect. I mean, it was tough. I you know
Brittany, I have a question for you. Didn't you tell me at one point of your childhood you were kind of sickly or dealt with a lot of health issues?
Mm-mm.
No? Okay. So I guess that was a different conversation. But could you speak from the child of a busy mother or a busy parent trying to provide for you in a rough situation? Could you speak from that angle?
To be honest with you, Terrence, that wasn't my experience. I had a busy mom who worked all the time, and I understood that she had to work. I often tell you guys that my mother made raising me look easy because I never knew we were struggling. I didn't know we were struggling until I was grown.
more than most
So
children. Yeah.
that really wasn't my experience now, as far as if I were to get sick, catch a cold, or I have broken several bones. Um, I think as an adult now, I have an appreciation for the sacrifices that she would have to make, as far as, okay, now I got to call these people and tell them I can't come to work today because my child is sick. I got to care for this child. I'm not going to rest. My mother would be up 24/7 watching me to make sure I was okay,
Mm-hmm.
when I was sick, or when I would, like I said, I have broken several bones since I was into everything. Um, but just the around the clock care, and they're not sleeping. And then after all of this is over, they still don't get rest, because you got to go back right back to work and jump right back into your real reality.
Hmm.
So there is never a break. I will say I did kind of experience that because I assisted in raising my nieces and nephews. So I understood it from the aspect of, there is never a dull moment. There's never a restful moment when you are parenting. It made me respect natural mothers all the more.
Yeah, yeah.
I,
Get
I wanted to step to the as Kim kind of hinted at. I wanted to step to the portion of the movie where she drops her daughter off and then she heads to work, or at least we believe she's dropping her daughter off. So I'm just kind of keeping up with the order of what we saw in the movie.
yeah.
So when she drops her daughter off and she's headed to work, and she gets to work and her boss is on her behind from the moment she walks in the
Mm-hmm.
door.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen a lot of people talk about how frustrated they are. Life is lifing, but then to get to a job that you really don't want to work, but you're working just to provide for your
Right, right,
child.
right.
He literally like saw her and it was like bam, 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 bam,
Yes,
bam.
he just was
Bring you in, you're late, and
right.
just I can't imagine you're dealing with, and again, we realize after the fact where what was actually happening in reality. But imagine, if you will, your child is sickly, you're struggling to get up yourself because you're so tired. Then your child is moving slow to get up, and then you finally get through that, trying to get some peace in your mind by hey, okay, I'm going to this job I don't really like. It's not really paying me a lot of money, but I really need to work this job so I can at least put food on the table. You get to the job, and from walking in the door, it's complaint, it's mad, it's angry. Even the customers.
Yes. Oh my
I
goodness.
think
Yes.
I think Brittany could talk about something recent happening as it relates to a stressful work day with the customers or coworkers where
Yes.
you
Keep it clean.
have
You got to work. Keep it clean. You got to go.
Are you talking about my experience from yesterday?
Oh,
Hmm.
do tell.
Yeah,
Let's compare it against this here.
I can't say too much, but I had a lot of titles yesterday, and none of them that I went to school for. I was a referee. I was an allergy doctor yesterday. I was a counselor and a therapist. I didn't go to school for none of this. And it had absolutely nothing to do with any of my patients. So I was a little nerved up when I got off from work yesterday. I think I texted you, Kim, and I said Friday is Fridaying wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a very bad day.
It
And
was
I'm never one to say that I had a bad day, but yesterday I had a bad day.
oh yeah. Okay, so I got a question. Okay, so Terrance, I need you to answer this question real quick. Okay, when Taraji, what was her name in the movie? What was her name?
Janaya.
Janaya.
yeah.
Janaya, right?
Hmm.
When Janaya actually walked into her job, and like you said, everything is going off, emotions are high, customers are disrespecting her, and the boss man went along with the customers in the same disrespect. Now, we've all been in a place like that. How have you been in that place, and what did you make out of it? How did you bring it from a 10 to a 2?
Well, being in the technology world of a career, I I feel there's always a level of high stress because people can't do their job without technology. So in my field, at any given moment, we can be anywhere on the spectrum. We can be on a easygoing day or we can be on a high level stress day. And so I know if I had to go through that, when I've had those days, my my past self,
Mm-hmm.
I'll say it like that. You all know the character's name.
You should have went on and just said that.
You're high strung. You're high strung from the get go, and you're not about to be disrespected, and you're letting people know you're not going to be disrespected. In fact, I've seen my managers at my current job from year one. I'm in year 4 now, but from year 1 until now, there were many days that my boss would say, Terrance, you have to learn some patience. You have to learn to calm down. You have to learn not to be so uh revved up at the beginning because you haven't figured out what the person is dealing with. Now, I think because Janiyah was so stressed behind her personal life, she
Mm-hmm.
didn't have the time to de stress situations at work. She did speak calmly when she, got into her role as cashier and she was telling people they could come into this lane and she'll take care of them. She did kind of speak with a peaceful tone, which I admired because y'all know if life is doing what it does, this is my tone. Hey,
Exactly.
yeah, I can help you.
Yeah. Can I help
What
you?
you need. And that's me. Everybody around me
That's
knows
all you're gonna get. You're gonna get one-liners.
if I'm not bubbly,
Ain't nobody gonna
you
be.
might want you you might want to back up a taste. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
when
So
Go
go
ahead.
ahead, Brent.
I had questions about when this scene first started because I'm just like, people go to work like that? Like people walk in the door and everybody just rah 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 like as soon as you walk in?
Well, I think it depends on the career.
Yeah. And you know what? There was no boundary set. Obviously, as we said in the workplace, no core values was there. Nothing.
Mm-mm.
It just boom, 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 boom. And then y'all remember the scene where one of the customers either threw something on her or
I threw that glass bottle, and
Yeah.
that's when I would have been done.
I believe that was the second time she came back
right
after
now.
she supposedly went to
Mm-mm, that
get
was
them,
before. That was when
No,
she
that was
first came
before.
in.
That was before. Uh-huh. Because the second time she about got fired about this time
Yeah, the
of what
second time she
happened.
came back, she got fired.
Right.
But
She had been
Okay.
gone too long. But that scene where somebody threw that
Okay.
bottle at her and it burst and
Yeah.
it was spread all over her. I don't care how calm you are, you may snap.
I
And
had
I
something like
think,
that happen to me.
yes, and because it felt like she was just so zoned out from all the stress, she just stood there. Like there was
Hmm.
no more, no more, you know. And I was like, and I'm looking at this on my television. I'm like, come on, Janiyah, come on. I just wanted I just want to do a back slap for her. I really, really did.
Well, my question was in that moment, in that scene, why usually, especially in grocery stores, you have a variety of types of personalities and people on the spectrum. So I wanted to know why we didn't have a person that was really concerned about her. Ma'am, are you okay? Or any, at any given
It
moment.
was,
That shocked me because in the bank he did it.
yes.
I don't want to get too far ahead, but he had that moment in the bank where you had crazy, you had calm, you had concerned, compassionate. You had all of that in the bank, but on her job, it was just like,
Her coworker.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get up. Well, yeah, that's true. I meant the customers. I was speaking
Oh
of the
yeah.
customers. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But you know what? It all goes back to what you said. It's where the where she was working, the atmosphere, the environment, so to say. You
Hmm.
know, and as a people, when we see stuff going crazy in grocery stores, we'll quickly say, "Well, this is part of time. Part of town I'm in. You're going to see
Hmm.
this kind of stuff, this type of behavior." And so I think that was the difference with Tyler Perry was letting us see different scenario, different scenes of her job that's unstable, chaotic, and then you go into the bank where everything is in place, you know.
Well, switching scenes. Thank you so much, Kim. Before we get to the bank, let's go to the school scene. According to the plot of the movie, she supposedly received a call from the school about medication for the child. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
so in that scene where she's at the school, I could have sworn either it was Kim, no, it was Brittany that texted me, and I quote, I hate this system.
Now, why you say that, Britt?
Okay,
Give it to us. Give it to
that
us, Brittany.
scene, she is saying that they're calling about Ari's lunch money, the $40. That's really the whole plot of all of this. It's this $40. She tells him she has to leave. She gets to the school, and now Child Protective Services is there, saying that the child hasn't eaten, she's dirty, she's this, she's that. And I'm like, I can see a single mother and I can see, okay, they are struggling. The system is not set up, even in the schools, the system is not set up to reach out to these parents and say, hey, it looks like you're having a hard time. Is there anything that we can do? The narrative is always, you see a bruise on a kid, okay, let's jump up and call CPS. But the issue that I have with that is this: you'll see that mother struggling and she's having a hard time, and one scratch on the baby prompts you to call CPS. They automatically take the child out of the home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You got known petties. You got known drug dealers. Kids being abused. You can see it. You know it's happening, and they'll put those children right back in
Right back in the home.
in the
Yep.
home. There was a baby here. Her name was Malia. I believe her last name is Davis. 3 or 4 years old. Had been taken out of the home several times. They knew that she was being abused. They put her back in the home. Baby ends up unalive. But when a
It
mother
happened.
is struggling and working hard and doing the best she can, that's when you want to jump and say, okay, she's not a fit mother. Or if they see situations where, okay, this is a single parent household. Just because there's a male in the house or another adult in the house doesn't mean that that child is safe. And a lot of times, a lot of the fatalities is coming from the mama's boyfriend. And when it comes to this, if you ask these men, a lot of these men, why it's so easy for them to get to the children or how they get to the children is normally through the adult, the female adult in that child's life. And
Mm-hmm.
so the system is just not set up. And I'm not going to say just black versus white. We already know about that. But the system is not set up to protect our children in the least. And then you put them in foster care and then they still get abused. Like, how does that happen? You're paying somebody now to abuse me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
So I
That's bad.
absolutely hate the way the system is set up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fast forwarding, they take the child.
Hmm.
She leaves the school and goes back to her job because, or heads back to her job because she needs to get her check to get that $40.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, her boss was acting crazy, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, the wreck. Kim, you got to talk about this wreck. You got to talk about this tomfoolery that happened in the street with this crooked cop.
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna tell you that scene made me like real mad because I'm
That's
sick.
why I chose you to. That's why I chose you to
Just to
answer.
see it on TV because this stuff is happening every day.
Hmm.
As we remember, George Floyd. It's happening for real, and then to see it again on screen. Like, this is real stuff. And it angered me because he just had a whole chip on his shoulder. It was like a
Yeah.
power trip. And he didn't care who he took down, you
Mm-mm.
know. And that was uncalled for. He literally done that to her to try to get her locked out, get her taken, put in jail. And he was saying, if I ever see you, or something to the fact, I don't remember the verbiage, but I'll make sure, or I'll kill you, or something like that. I wanted to come through the screen and I want to punch him in both eyes. Okay. Because you see it every day on the streets. Every day we wake up, it's some type of crime, unnecessary crime that has taken place. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't even a crime, really. But you get
But we have
pulled
been
over.
saying
Yeah.
we have been saying for years the way cops go to work is the
Mhm.
problem
Yes.
because they're having life to life as well. And then their psychological battles, they're not getting the counseling and the help for. So
Right. Right.
he's got road rage because she cuts in front of him. Now, she didn't hit his car, if I'm not mistaken, but after she cut in front of him, now he has to prove his point by hitting her car and talking down to her and all these kinds of things. When or do you feel currently that we've gotten to a place, both of you can answer, do you feel currently that we're at a place that the law enforcement are now getting the help they need so that they can actually protect and serve? Are they getting the psychological, the emotional
Feel that way. No.
training, all of that?
Mm-mm.
No. No, I don't. What's your
No.
take, Brittany?
No, I've first of all, I've never even thought of, like, I know that they should go under, testing for everything, psychological evaluations, but I've never thought that that should really be a need if that's the career that you chose, because law enforcement doesn't choose you. You're not being recruited or anything like that. Um, and I really don't think that it's psychological, to be honest with you. I think that you just have a lot of really bad people who have been trusted to enforce the law. And I've had experiences, I've worked in it, I've had experiences of my own dealing with the law. And I don't look at this like, okay, that's a psychological break or there's something that they're lacking no. You just got a lot of bad people with power. And that's how our government is set up, not just law enforcement, that's how our world is set up. You have a lot of bad people with power.
With power.
And
Yes.
now, will I say that I am seeing more of law enforcement being held accountable? Not enough, but there are some that they are making examples out of to say that when you put this badge on and you put this gun on, you can't just go out here as a vigilante and blow somebody's head off because you feel some type of way. And when it comes to law enforcement, I have very uh, personal opinions about law enforcement and our black men being unalived by law enforcement, because unfortunately my brother was unalived right across the street from my house. So by a police officer, an off-duty police officer who was plain
Wow.
clothes, and that man is still walking free today. No justice was served.
Wow. I
So
didn't know that.
yeah.
Sorry to hear
So
that.
that part triggered me more in that movie just because I do have the personal experiences of seeing, and I actually have this twice in my life, seeing that justice was not served for someone who was wrongfully, and I'm just going to say it, wrongfully murdered.
Mm-hmm.
These police officers are not always in a threat for their lives, because there have been some of these situations that I have seen where I've been like, okay, the victim was in the wrong and I probably would have did the same thing. But there have been some that I'm just like, they didn't deserve to die like that.
Mm-hmm. I agree with everything
I
you said. I can't even
I
think.
definitely I definitely concur. I still think that there's a lot of training, there's a lot of accountability that has to take place. But will it? I'm not sure of it. I'm not saying I can't say that I'm sure that it will get to where it needs to get. Not anytime soon. Okay, Banksy. I'm sure we all been ready for it.
Okay,
Ooh,
the bank scene.
So
Okay,
I was
y'all
gonna
so
lead
last
up
on
with
this
this
one.
one because I was so
Jan-
torn. I was yelling and screaming. Y'all gonna have to lead on this one.
Janaya finally gets to the teller. Do y'all remember the teller's name?
Tessa,
Hmm.
Tessa was
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm. See again. I'm expecting Brittany to answer certain questions, and I'm expecting Kim to answer certain questions because I remember the passion in their responses on the phone once they called me to say, "You see, I'm going. Somebody, she about to." I remember those comments. So
Oh boy, I tell you,
Janaya is finally at the count.
that
She has a
500 or
bloody check. She has blood on the check because of what happened in the previous scene with her boss and the guy who um, chooses to come to the job and rob them. Trying not to give too much away, but again, it's a
It's
spoiler.
a spoiler
So she gets to the bank. She gets to the bank with her check finally, and the young man's gun. You have to watch the movie to really understand. Tessa, are you hating on Tessa because she stop shaking your head, Brittany? Are you hating? Are you are you hating on Tessa because she's doing her job, or are you hating on Tessa because she goes overboard with how she operates or responds to Janaya? Brittany first, then Kim.
let me just clarify that I am not hating on Tessa.
well, I
And
was.
let me now I don't like her. Passionately don't like her. And also, let me just say this that the young lady, because I looked up the cast and everything, the young lady that played Tessa Better, thank God that she don't look like Tessa in real life. Couldn't pick her up out of a lineup.
Wow.
But let me let
Okay.
me let me explain why this scene drove me so bad. Okay. So there's a lot of logistics that were not paid attention to when we in different conversations, and I was also on another panel about this movie. Um, in different conversations, there's a lot that we don't know about how the bank works. So Taraji goes in or Janaya goes in and she wants to cash her check. She doesn't have an ID. Protocol is we know you. We can go to bank supervisor, manager. They can go ahead and approve us to cash this check. Tessa escalated this situation off the bat. Can't do it. You
Mm-hmm.
need your ID. She did tell her, I can talk to my manager. Janaya's like, look, just cash my check. Tessa, you know me. She puts the gun on the counter. I just want my check cash, $521. What y'all probably don't know is that when you take too much money out of the tills in a bank, so when the banker takes the money out, there it's automatically count. If they take too much out, it automatically triggers an alarm. That's
Okay.
why that call automatically went to Nicole.
Okay.
Okay.
So she
See,
triggered
I
that
missed
I
that.
alarm.
thought she pressed the button. I
She
really did thought
no,
I thought she had pressed
they
it.
did press the button, but when she took all that money out of the register, it triggered that. So that was problem number one. So you already know what you're doing. You already escalating the situation, and then further down into the movie, after all hell breaks loose, you sitting here with attitude like we inconveniencing you. I mean, you are being
Told you
held.
I wanted to go off on her.
I mean,
Tessa
you
was testing.
right. I
That's
mean, you
what I'm gonna
are
say.
being held hostage in a sense, but she just made a lot of comments. And then when she was talking to the old lady, because you know how I feel about my elderly, when she was talking to the old lady about the peppermint, I wanted to shove all them peppermints down her throat. And then when
Mm-hmm.
she went in there, everybody thinks, oh, Tessa was trying to be a hero by going in there and writing that that the bomb was fake or it wasn't a real bomb or whatever she said. not realizing that you could have got yourself killed, and I'm gonna say it like my mom would say, yourself killed,
Yes.
or and
Yes.
everybody else in there. Because had they looked at that, and if you notice, Sherry told her this is probably the only thing that's keeping you alive. It's the fact that they think
Yes.
that
Yes.
this is a bomb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was
Yes.
the issue that I had with Tessa, her attitude, and then everybody wants to credit it to she is a new millennial or Gen Z or whatever they are. Y'all know I always say respect is due a dog. And I don't know what it is with this generation and the need to be disrespectful and everything and the entitlement. It's like, girl, you in a situation where you are not entitled to live right now. And so what I would admonish you to do is calm down. They keep telling her like, hey, you need to watch your mouth, watch your tongue. Now I wish that this movie would have progressed to at least the next day, because I wanted to see
Yes.
Sherry Shepherd fire her. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Y'all know.
Yeah.
I just
Okay.
wanted to see her get fired or beat up, one or the other.
Okay, I'm gonna leave like the kids. My turn, my turn, my turn. You know, I that young lady right there, she played that part. I'm gonna say she played that part. I totally agree with you, Brittany. I think she was following protocol of the bank. But when she saw, her put the gun out, on the counter saying, you can cash my check and whatever, I think it went from the professional side of following protocol to the fearful side. And that's what you got. She got scared, and then she got an attitude that you seen all these emotions in this one lady. She went from professional to fear, attitude, like she entitled, I mean, and it's just, it reminds me in the real world, in the workplace, you go through, they call it in service or whatever, on what to do in case of you have, this type of thing happen in the workplace, violence in the workplace,
Mm-hmm.
and or weapons in the workplace. They have these things on the real job where you sit down and you know what to do. Now we do know also in the real world when it's happening, it kind of like you gotta think about it, and you really don't be thinking at the time like, okay, we need to do this. We need to keep the situation down. Don't have it escalated. Tessa, she started taking things in her own hands,
Mm-hmm.
because like you said, when she went to the bathroom and wrote that on the window, of the bathroom, the bomb is not real. Spoiler alert. She could have had everybody killed in there, but
Mm-hmm.
she was thinking she was doing something, so they'll come in there and they would get rescued. And it really could
Right.
have went to the left so
Yeah.
badly, everybody could have been killed. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me say this too. Let me say this too. The other lady that was in there that was recording the live, well, that's how everybody got to really see what was going on. When
Yes.
she was telling her story, I still refer to her as Taraji. When she was telling her story, the things that going on, and even she, you could see her heart soften, so to speak,
Right.
because she
Right.
could
Right.
relate like this girl is really not coming in here to hurt us.
Mm-hmm.
She
Yeah.
just really want this 500 and what it was, $541 something.
521, I think.
Right. She just want 521. She wanted her check.
She just wanted to check, and she started to see,
Mm-hmm.
wait a minute, it's not your normal bank robbery here,
Exactly. Exactly.
and so you could see, but Tessa still was on that hot roll. I wanted to slap the up out of her at the time. So, but if we can all agree, when she was stating how hard it was, and it's expensive to be poor, that hit home for us all.
Yeah.
Whether you a single mom, you was raised, in a single household or whatever, or y'all just didn't have it, you understood that statement.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I was like, yes, it is. It reminds me of when Marvin Zentler was here, news anchorman for many years here. Before he died, he would always say at the end of his newscast when he was investigating a situation for people, it's hell to be poor.
Yes.
Say that. And so
Yes.
when she said that it's expensive to be poor, I got it.
Hmm.
I got it. And it took me out. That's when the tears was forming.
I think Sherry Shepherd's character Nicole was, well, first of all, let me just tell everybody I am in love with Taraji and Taraji is in love with me.
Okay,
We
you
We
just
have
said
agree.
that
been in
twice.
a relationship.
Hold on, wait a
We've been
minute.
off and on. We've been off and on in our relationship for some, it's been rocky at times, but
But y'all please talk to her agents for him because he's in love with Taraji P.
Okay,
Henson, okay?
listen, hold on, because first of all, you're not gonna have me on platforms getting me sued. Um,
He in love, Britt. He's in
he
love.
is infatuated with Taraji P. Henson, and I do want to go on the record by saying I can almost guarantee you that she don't even know this poor man exists. But Taraji, if you should ever see this, just shout him out. He love you, and I love you too. But I get tired of hearing your name when it come to him. Every movie that she makes, we have to watch for him.
Yes, yes, I agree. Lift your hands up, y'all. Okay.
going all the way back to Baby Boy, and I'm coming all the way forward. And I'm going to say this uh, Cookie, I don't
There is
remember,
that too.
but there's some oh, even in the Benjamin Button movie, everything she was just absolute. The movie where she was Proud Mary, that's another one. I was just,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
She's played so many
but
roles.
what's your favorite role that
Nicole.
she's played?
Yeah, what is her favorite role for you? Come on, T.
Well, we got to decide which, because each role stretches her, or she allows herself to be unfolded, or another layer of her is manifested. I think I would have to tie between. I have a top three. That's all I can say, guys. So I would say in my top three, and not a specific order, I have the Cookie Lion character. I have the character from Hustle and Flow, and then there's
Yeah.
Straw. That's my top three,
Okay.
but
Loved,
not in no
loved her
specific
from the
order.
jump. Loved it. It's hard out here for a pimp.
She's
Okay, I'm sorry.
I see Brittany mind rolling. Something is happening.
okay.
What's going on?
I can't really like pinpoint one specific role other than I can do Bad All by Myself
That
again
was
because
good.
she's very
Yes.
relatable to me with the alcoholism. Um, but she's only had one role that I did not like her in, and this is going to be so controversial because it's my favorite
Uh-oh.
movie, but I did not like her as Suge Avery in The Color Purple.
I think I have to agree.
I
I
loved
forgot
her
about that.
voice. I loved her
Yes.
singing, but that character just was not.
Wasn't her.
It wasn't her.
Okay. I think I have to agree. But I think the problem was that, but we're gonna stay on point. But let me just say, like a little kid. Uh I think the problem with that one, and we're not even critiquing that movie, but I'm just gonna make a comment about it, is the fact that I was so I love the original characters and the lady that played that part until I just felt like you couldn't replace it with anybody, not even the greats. And
Right.
so that's why I didn't care for her in that role. Okay. So that was for me. That was for me. But I don't know.
Okay,
I would have loved to see a part two for this, for what we're discussing. I'm like, Britt, I
Love.
would love to see a part two just to
come
see.
on. We have limited time, guys. We got
I told you we
two
could
to
go
three
on and
more
on with
scenes.
this.
Yes, yes. We got 2 to 3 more scenes that we need to hit on. So I'm dealing with Nicole. Nicole really played her part. Sherry Shepherd is the actress. She really played her part. She made this movie with all that she contributed. She was very calm. Now she stayed professional throughout the movie. I think that was a great example of a manager under a stressful, chaotic moment. Okay. Now, but I just wanted to give her a shout out because I love Sherry Shepherd. I need to go to the police or the SWAT truck. I want to deal with that. So we had two layers there. We have the layer where finally they come in and start negotiations, and Tiana Taylor's character, Detective Detective
Raymond.
Raymond, steps in and starts to make a connection. I thought that was absolutely amazing. I'm not sure that with other movies or even reality, I've seen it get to that level of connecting. I don't know if you agree or disagree, but I was very proud of the local PD taking that route.
Mm-hmm.
Her boss even allowed it eventually because he saw that she was doing her thing, and then the other detective comes in and the actual negotiator comes in and he's like, no, keep going, keep going. So I know that doesn't usually happen because this is my role, this is what I do. Back the hell up, let me do my job. I know that's usually how it goes,
Right.
but for Tyler to allow that to transpire was, I think, him taking legalities with his movie. But like Brittany has been doing the whole podcast talking about the professional and the actual job responsibilities. I thought this was Tyler taking leeway where usually you won't see that transpiring. But it was very inspiring that she was able to share her personal story and stay professional. I know tears wanted to come, or at least her acting ability made it look like tears were coming, but she really gave us, I was able to picture, as she was speaking about her personal life, I was able to visualize what she had gone through with her own mother. So to me, even when they went to the apartment complex and she's talking to the landlord and things of that nature, and the male is like, look, we're here to do a job,
Mm-hmm.
and she's out of order and she messed up and she did this and she did that. And Tiana is trying to, Detective Raymond is seeing that part that he's speaking of, but she's still looking at it from the woman's perspective,
Right.
the mother perspective. And I thought that was very admirable. I don't know about you all.
Yes, because she made the connection.
Hmm.
Tiana made the connection, and by her being able to do that, that's when she gained the trust, you know, of the moderator. So, or the one that was trying to keep the peace, she kept it because you got to trust somebody. You know what I'm saying? And so when she gained that trust, it couldn't be broken because it just would have messed up the whole thing. I think it would have came out even horrible. I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Britt?
Um, I think that she put to the side that she was law enforcement and she became human for a moment. Um,
Yes,
the
yes.
fact that she was also a single mother, and I think with these two women in general, um, if you know Taraji's story, if you know what Tiana is currently going through,
That's good. That's good.
as two
Yeah,
two
that's
now
good.
single mothers, Taraji has always been a single mother,
Always,
and
yes.
Tayana Taylor now becoming a single mother and being able to relate to their characters, even though they had to go deep for the for these characters. I don't think that they really had to reach that deep in order for them to realize that this really could and has been their reality. So she was able to relate to her as a single mother and also as someone who watched her mother go through. They had been evicted. She came home and her mother, everything was out on the street. And so for Taraji to pull up and she has everything on the street. So she became a human and she said, I understand how we could get here. And I think in that aspect, it let us know, or it reminded us that this could be us. Like, this really could have been our story. And to a certain extent, it has been our story, because when I was watching it, I'm thinking about my mama, my grandmother, I'm thinking about Kim. I'm like, this is all
Yeah.
of
Any
the
given
women that
day.
I know. Huh?
Yeah, any given day it
Yeah.
could happen.
Yeah.
While we're on Tiana, we got to talk about the punch. Come on now. Now Brittany basically came through my phone trying to tell me what she would have did to this cop once she found him. And Kim, well, y'all know Kim is from, she at the moment she be having her hood moments. So okay, so you finally find that, well, first of all, let's deal with the woman cop.
With her trying to protect dirt.
That's who I wanted to fight. I'm gonna let you know right now. That's who I wanted to fight.
But yeah, I wanted to come through. I wanted to slide
As
through
soon as
too.
she tried to lie, I was in here yelling, "Go ahead and lie if you want to. Go ahead. You better tell him who this
Yeah,
was. Go ahead.
yeah, I was screaming, "You better tell him! You better tell him!"
Lie if you want to."
But Tiana took off, and the guy, I forgot his name, the other detective was behind her. Detective Raymond, you need to stop. Where are you going, Detective? Listen,
She was
when a
going to handle
sister,
the business.
when a sister, when a sister is you better. You might want to get out the way. That's all I'm
Get
saying.
up, the body is gonna
She
follow.
she went deaf and blind for 2.5 seconds. She, you know what? When I saw this scene, I literally asked, and most of the time when I see somebody get beat up like that or just punched like that, I literally asked, how many times did she mess that scene up? Like, how many times did she accidentally hit him for real? Because the way she decked this man, yeah,
Yeah,
that wasn't no one and done.
yeah.
But I'm
No,
not a violent person for real, but when I tell you that punch made me so happy.
oh, I was hoping when he fell down that she was gonna kick him or stomp him or something. I was wanting to go in for it, like real talk.
Because,
I wanted
see,
to go in.
that I'm going to find a legal way to blow your brains out, whatever he said, that stuck with me. Oh, and I ain't even a grudge holder, but that right there, oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But look, can we all agree on this right here? You know the people didn't said it. Y'all didn't heard what I'm about to say.
Okay.
If Janiyah would have had direct deposit, we
Knew
wouldn't
you
have
was about to say if she had had direct
we
deposit.
wouldn't have to worry about her check. Okay,
Oh,
trying to cash it.
can I say
But
something
wait,
though?
but wait, but wait. Let us not forget this is reality though, Kim. I feel what you're saying. This is reality that some people may not, well, number one, may not still in today's time have checking accounts based upon whatever the life situation circumstances are, that they still are going to check cash in places. Now I agree, but it still exists. That's number one. Number two,
Sure.
this was fresh. She hadn't really had her bank account all that long. So, but then the special situation is home where the ID is gone and things of that nature. I agree. Maybe there was an ATM, maybe there wasn't an ATM. Why Tyler chose not to utilize an ATM? I
He
can't
did.
speak to that. She was desperate in that moment. I really need this. My baby need her $40.
Well, no,
You
she
know,
went to the ATM first, but with that bank, she had to have a certain amount because she had $47 in the bank. So when she went to
that's
Sherry,
right.
so
That's
Yeah,
right.
he
yeah.
did. Um,
It's so easy to miss those
They
little
didn't show they
stuff.
didn't show us that, so that was cut. That was on the floor, the
Yeah,
cutting room floor. Okay, good point, Britt.
but I think with that, even though truth be told, in today's society, for those that don't have bank accounts, they do have pay cards. But the reality of having a boss so evil, my check's on the desk, but you gonna mail me my check. Um,
That was unreal.
that
That
made
was
me
that was
mad.
quite unreal.
That made me
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
mad. And it was like the grin that he had on his face, like, you do know what happens when you're terminated, checks in the mail. And you know that this woman is struggling. All she needs is the check that she's that probably would have been my 13th reason at that point. So yeah, that made me mad.
but guys, I'm not taking his side at all. I'm just trying to look at it from both sides. Is there a chance that he became this way due to upper management being up his behind.
Mm-mm.
No, I
No.
think he was a regular butthole from the
No.
beginning.
You can
Okay.
tell when, because I have a boss that gets a certain way when upper management gets a certain way. I think me and Kim both go through that. As
Yeah.
long as everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing, ain't
Mm-hmm.
nobody bothered. But when upper management has to get involved and they're saying X, Y, and Z is happening, why is this and this is now you're making me get a certain way. But they're doing that because they have to not only protect your job, their main concern is protecting their job.
Mm-hmm.
This man ain't had
Right.
nothing that he was trying to protect. He was just
No.
a jerk.
Yeah.
Even when, and this is where my heart gets broken. Do you still feel that way even when a person is continuously late, a person is continuously having excuses, a person is continuously having to leave, go and come, whether it's their personal health, whether it's a child, whether it's a family member, a parent that they have to see and take care of? Do you still, in the real world, Kim? I know about us. I know about us. I just want y'all to feel me
Yeah.
because,
In the real
again, I'm trying
world,
to look at the whole spectrum.
a manager, it becomes very aggravating,
Hmm.
very frustrating because that employee have things going on. In the real world, that manager would have pulled that employee to the side, like, sit down and talk to me because you're going back and forth. What's going on? I can see you really need your job and I want you to keep your job. So what is it that you need? What would be helpful to you? They would have maybe not that type of verbiage, but they would have a come to Jesus kind of situation talk.
Right.
Okay, okay, okay.
Is what I'm saying. And then after so long, either they're gonna offer you FMLA,
We
they're
know
gonna
about
offer
that.
you out. They're gonna put some a game plan in place whether it's gonna be for you or against you.
Right, right.
Okay.
And that's all I was trying. And Brittany was saying it too. I just wanted to make sure that part was there. Okay, so if you're just constantly leaving, oh, I got this excuse. This the problem. This was going on. I gotta help my child. My child is sickly. Or my mom. As management, a lot of times, like I said, we don't always know what they have to deal with. But at the same time, like I said, I'm my heartstrings was just, I was like, come on, man, you got to have some compassion. You got to, come on, she telling you what.
Yeah.
And he was like,
No,
no, I'm mailing the check. I'm mailing the check.
he was
He
just the
was
way he
very,
was.
yeah.
He was just a jerk all the way around.
And I think companies, real life companies, are starting to realign their focuses on, okay, you're late, you have to leave, this is going on. Because I know, like, testimony, I have a job where, yeah, I'm required to be at work, but life has been happening ever since I've been on this job. And I have always had, like, the fear, like, oh my God, I'm missing all this time, or this is happening. Um, I got a job that when something happened, they there. They are there. Do you need us to come to the hospital? No. When my father passed away, they were at the home going. So it's like, they do everything that you would actually want a boss to do. And so a lot of companies after this pandemic have realized that employees, they work because they have to, but they can work anywhere. And when you have, I think that there needs to be a balance between your employee and your management. If you got an employee that's bringing something to the table and they got life happening, support them.
Hmm.
I really feel like
Hmm.
this is
Hmm.
a cautionary tale for not just single mothers, fathers, society. I think this is a cautionary tale for HR. I feel like everybody that works a HR
Hmm.
position, a lead position, a management position, they should actually have to watch this movie. Why? Because you get to see Sherry's
Mm.
character, and then you get to see Glenn Turman's character, and you get to see what not to do as a boss. You get to see how you
Yes.
can support not just your employees, but in this situation, how she went so far to protect Janaya. And
Well, not only Janaya, but she was trying to protect her employees as well. I was
right,
just getting ready to say what Brittany was saying. There's a contrast between Glenn and Sherry that I think a dynamic that I think a lot of people watching the movie did not pay attention. Both of them are managers,
Right.
and look at how they operated.
And see, that goes to show you how when I say you are taught in the workplace through different in-services training, whatever your workplace calls it, what to do in a situation. And Sherry showed, she played out that role. This is how you handle it to keep keep everything that's going on down to as low as you can get it on the scale. She de-escalated is what they normally would say on the job, the whole
Yes.
situation. Her store manager, he just didn't care.
right,
He had no, as they would say, the old people say, he had no coof about him.
not a little.
He just okay. That's another word, Terrance.
Okay, Terrence, I want because you've been talking about the parts that blew us as we
Yeah, what blew you?
Well, I was no. We moving quickly because we really only have like possibly two scenes left. That two major components. I was getting ready to say shout out to Mother. Y'all not about to sit up here and not talk about Mother because Mother hung in there as long
to that sugar dropped
as
the two.
long as she as long as she could. Y'all not gonna give Mother a shout out?
I gave Mother a shout out earlier, but yes, we gonna give
Yes,
Mother her flowers because let me
we're
tell
gonna give her
you
flower.
that she was gonna be there to the end, and until that blood sugar drops and them peppermints wasn't working no
Yes.
more. That
No,
woman said, "I'm sorry, but I got to go." I said, "Now who is sitting up in here being held hostage? Talking about I'm sorry, but I got to go."
I got to go. And let her out the door.
I don't feel well. I don't, sugar, baby.
Sweet little
I,
Janaya, she talking
I
about
don't.
she need a doctor. Y'all gotta go get her some help. We gotta get her out of here. I said, "Oh my god!"
Again, to prove the point, this is not a regular, what they call bank robbery.
Right,
But
Totally.
mother, but the difference that y'all missed, well, maybe not you all, but some people missed. Mother was praying for Janiyah in that
the
scene.
whole
Mother was
time.
encouraging Janiyah in that scene. And like you said, Brittany, Mother was going to see that sister into the car if she could have.
You know
Yes.
what?
She,
While we're speaking of the elderlies in this movie, Mother was my favorite, but the other portion of that is the military man.
Yes.
Y'all know it angers me to my core for someone to tell me that they fought for me to be free and I'm in a country that I'm not free. We won't get into that. But you fought for all of these freedoms that I actually don't have. And then you tell me that y'all just don't want to work for nothing. She's literally there in a uniform. And I think a lot of the reason I gave this movie a 9.5 is because a lot of things in this movie nobody used common sense about. Nobody said this is not normal, that's not normal. And then you go off on this girl and then say, I gotta go, and then you walk out the bank. And then it still don't click to you that I was never being held hostage, that something is going. We don't have compassion for people.
no, no, we don't.
And I think that was depicted so well in this movie that these people played these roles too well. Because I still want to throw hands, but I'll never hit an elderly person. That's the only reason they lucky. Tesla can see me any day for them too. But it's just,
That Tess ain't getting no love.
you know what, like I said, the girl that played Tessa, I'm not going to put her name out here because I can't pronounce her last name. But the young lady that played Tessa, she is so blessed and lucky that she does not look like Tessa. Like if you saw this child in a lineup, and she's very young, but if you saw her in a lineup, um, you would not be able to say, "Oh, that's the girl that played Tessa." No,
Mhm.
I went and
Mhm.
looked because Atlanta coming
Yeah,
up.
you.
When look, that she gonna go do her homework.
Yeah. And
So
what I
go ahead.
also
Go ahead.
loved is that Mother ain't old in real life.
Wow.
Now
Mother,
we're gonna have to go behind the scenes and go look at the characters
Mother is
and the
Yeah,
so
I need to
type
see
pretty.
of
that.
character.
I need to see that.
Mother
We
is
need to
so
see that.
pretty, and she has a beautiful smile, but she's not old in real life. So she played that character extremely well.
I don't want to talk about Taraji's mother. She did her part. She, it was a short role. What we have to go, guys. There's so, like Kim has said over and over again. There's so much,
So much.
so many trinkets, so many nuggets we can hit on, and Brittany has been profound in her delivery. Unlike myself, I'm just going to say this in our finale. There's two things left. Sherry walking out the door with uh, Janaya. But right before I get to that, I have to deal with Tyler Perry's cinematography choice of vacillating on the ending. With that, I believe he chose to give us both endings because number one, and I also read this online. Number one, there are two realities. Whether you're black, white, Asian, Latino, you have two realities in this robbing of a bank. You can walk out in handcuffs or they can actually kill you. So I felt that was very, very powerful that he chose to let her imagine what her reality could have been versus what actually happened. Now, in reality, which one, if we want to, like Brittany said earlier, if we want to play this role forward in time,
Mm-hmm.
which reality would have taken place? I would really love to hear what you all's thoughts were, but I just have to say, if Taraji was dead, when I first saw that part, I have to, please hear me. I'm talking about to the world.
Ooh,
Sweetheart, when you was on that ground, I was on my way to Atlanta.
Wait,
you have been saying say he on his way to Atlanta.
this man called me.
Tyler is Go
Goodness.
ahead. Go ahead, Britt. Go
This
ahead.
man called me and was telling me, like, we finna hop a flight to Atlanta. I said, well, Atlanta ain't but a 2-hour flight from here, a 10-hour drive. What you want to do? Talking about they killed my Taraji. I was like, all right.
He has lost it.
Tyler is
He's
from New Orleans. Tyler does not make no qualms. He's from New Orleans. In fact, and for those of y'all that don't know, I'm a 504 boy too. Tyler is from Uptown. I'm from Uptown. You
okay.
heard third ward, true and true. 504 third ward. You not about to kill my Taraji at the end of nothing. At the end of nothing. At
This
the end.
man
Listen,
snapped
Cookie
so bad.
survived. Proud Mary survived. I don't remember her character's name, but Hustle and Flow, she was a recorded artist. You not about,
We
baby boy.
both shaking our head like this man is a mess.
This
He
man is
is a
Okay, so
man.
obsessed.
which this pretty much it, guys, and then I'm gonna let you all do what y'all have to do. But which ending in this scenario, if you had to pick one based upon everything that transpired, I want to know which one do you see being the actual ending? Kim first, then Brittany.
The actual ending. You know what? I like the way it ended out where we got to see her walk out and Sherry was there. That was her supportive person because she didn't have any support in the beginning. And so Sherry showed that and they walked out together, both their hands up. She was there for her from the moment that it started to the moment that it ended with her ducking down in that police car. And so I like that because again, if it would have went the other way and everybody would have been dead up in there, I that was not gonna work out for me. I was
Yeah.
gonna have to call Tyler Perry and tell him that you wrong for this.
It wasn't gonna be no calling. It wasn't gonna be no
This
car.
man
Because
said we
just
was
like
getting
you
ready to hop a
destroyed my
flight
other
to
show that
Atlanta.
having to have nots, I wanted to go drive up there to Atlanta and knock on his door and say, you know, you
I'm in the dream center. I'm in or purpose center, whatever he called that. I'm in the dream center knocking. Mr. Perry, I need to speak to you right away.
know,
Listen,
hey,
executive assistant, I don't care.
Tyler.
shut the door, Tyler. We need
Not Ty. Brittany, make note. Not Tyler.
Tyler.
It's Tyler. Go
But
ahead.
wait,
Okay.
Kim, say
Okay,
it like you
Brittany. The
said it one more
ending.
time. Kim, say it again how you said it.
Kim.
She got to put that
not
southern
Tyler.
drawl on it.
You know how we
Yeah, the Southern Draw. Yeah. Brittany, what's your ending?
Um, I did like the way that the movie ended. Unfortunately, reality in today's society, it would not have ended that peacefully. But I'm glad that Tyler did not traumatize us that bad with that ending. Especially you, Terrance, because we would have had to come see about you.
Lord Jesus.
yes.
Tonight! Okay, I'm
But I
back.
did want to say this is my final comment, I guess, about the movie. Um, it was two things that made me realize that she was in a fever dream the whole time. Sinbad told us that the baby was died. Well, the baby was died. The baby dead. The baby died. Sinbad told us because when she went to the apartment, saw all her stuff out there. The cops came out there. They said Aria Wilkinson, and he said, "Yeah, that's her daughter. She was always sick." The other thing is, we knew something was off about this movie at the beginning because one of the first questions I asked is like when they're like panning through and she has the two bowls of ramen noodles on the table. Why is one full and why is one empty? This lady literally lost her child and went home and picked up life as though nothing had changed.
No, nothing ever happened. And
Um,
y'all school me on that one.
yeah. And even with watching it and seeing the other podcasts and the other interviews about this movie, it's so much that was saying that this lady has snapped. And I don't know if y'all realize that at some point she literally took on the role as a child when she began to almost whine, if you will, which in normal circumstances would be annoying. But for her, it's
Mm-hmm.
like, Mama, I didn't rob the bank. I'm not trying to rob the bank. Tell them this is not,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just life is heavy. Life is extremely heavy. And I think my takeaway has even strengthened me on how I deal with people day to day because you just don't know everybody's story. And I
Yeah,
think that
yeah,
we will be if Tyler Perry's goal was to teach us how to love and how to appreciate, then he did that. And that would make this movie a 10 out of 10. If
yes,
it
yes,
changes or impacts somebody to say,
yes,
I'm not going to be
yes,
so judgmental because I don't know the story.
Well, I was going to say compassion, so, and because my baby Taraji P Henson is still alive, I make it a 10 as well. Go ahead.
Lord. Okay, can I just say, I'm just gonna be my final statement. I've been
Okay.
asking, can I, just like a small child, huh? But it's just was so good. The movie is just so good to me. But I think that the greatest takeaway that I got from it was you hear people say, "Oh, that broke me. That really broke me, that situation." I really got to see in the physical what brokenness looks like because she
Yes.
was totally broken in every aspect, mentally, physically, emotionally. You got to see all of that,
Hmm.
you know. And that's what I got from. I got to literally see what brokenness looks like.
Well, the crew has gotten together to share our thoughts to you all, the listener. And Brittany, can you tell us what's coming up next, or what is in the future for the crew getting together to chit chat and give us our thoughts? We want to hear what you think as well, audience. But Brittany, what do you have to say?
Oh, we got quite a bit coming up. Of course, we will continue to gather together to do these podcasts, but we also have our own podcast where we have our own topics. We have Grace Talks with Terrance, and we have Kim Talks Unscripted with our lady Kim, and then we also have Pretty Girls Hill with me, Evangelist Britt. Um, Listen, just tune in. We are available on anywhere that you listen to your podcast, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere that you can listen to a podcast, you can hear our podcast. And I'm gonna tell you the names again. It's Grace Talks with Terrance Williams, Kim Lede with Kim Talks Unscripted. Then you have me, Evangelist Britt, with Pretty Girls Heal. Other things that are coming up, we listen. It's so much going on right now. You just have to stay tuned. We are working on being extremely consistent with you guys. We are working on so many different projects as far as bringing these reviews out to you. And let me tell you what these podcasts are about. Grace Talks, beautiful podcast, mental health and wellness. And then you have Kim Talks Unscripted. You're going to get a little bit of everything. You're going to get your music, your laughter. You're going to get your real talk. Pretty Girls Heal is just what it is. It's women healing from our past. And listen, like I said, just stay tuned, interact with us. We love to talk back to you guys. And when you see us together, just know it's going to be a good time.
Yes. Well, with that being said, I got to ask the question again, family. What do you think? Give us your take. Hey, leave a comment. We want to read it, and you never know. We might have a segment on just the comments that was written on what we talked about on today's topic. All right, until next time, you already been told where you can listen to this. Share it with your friends. Call your mama, call your auntie, call your best friend, share the word. Get the notifications on every one of these podcasts that you just heard. Till next time, what do you think? Bye, family.
Love you, Taraji.